And let's find somewhere to park. Something's going on with that building right there. It's had seen better days. How is everyone doing today? This is your boy FlyIslandGuy, and I'm back with another one of those on-air thunder videos. I'm in a really good mood today because I am starting an adventure today. And what's that adventure, you say? So, I've decided to go on a North America tour. And how's that going to work? So, let's just bring up our map real quick. So here we are, we're back in our home base here in Nassau. And what I plan to do is I'm going to be taking jobs in North America that's going to take me from Nassau to the East Coast. We're going to head up the East Coast. We are going to go into southern Canada. So, like Nova Scotia's around here. We've been to Nova Scotia a couple times already. Well, I think maybe once. I don't remember. But we've been here before, so we might not go here again. We'll see. But we'll go from eastern United States into eastern Canada. And then we'll go west. And as we go west, we're going to go along southern Canada, northern United States, kind of bounce around. Then we're going to head to western United States. And we're going to come down the west coast of the United States, maybe drop into Mexico a little bit, and then we're going to head back east along the south of the United States and head back to our home base in Nassau. So that's going to happen over a period of weeks. And my main aim at the end of all of this is to build up enough money to buy an aircraft. I want to get something like the CJ4, maybe a Longitude. I have no idea how much they cost, and that's something I need to research, but that's going to be the plan. So we'll see how that goes. It's going to be exciting times. In the meantime, I've really been moving around. I've been hustling. My company is doing really well. I'm just going to go back to the home page now. So we are sitting at about $500,000 in company cash, and everything is doing good. We're really just kind of going about things in the proper manner, so I'm excited about that. All right, enough about the company. Let's go ahead and let's start our job today. We are going to be going from Nassau, and as you can see, it's a little bit of a rainy day here today. And yeah, we got a lot of cloud around. We got some thunder. We got some rain. So I can imagine it's going to be a little bumpy on the way out. But once we get up and over the clouds, it is going to be good. So let's go ahead and let's hop into the cockpit right now. Already have our flight plan loaded up. Let's turn this light off. Yeah, we already have our flight plan loaded up and ready to go. And we could explain that on the way. But really, we are going to be... let's back out. Basically leaving Nassau, and we're going to head northwest, pretty much straight, and then we'll be doing ILS approach into Augusta, Georgia, and I'll be showing you the approach as we go along the way. All right, so we are pretty much all set as far as the aircraft is concerned. There's one or two things I do need to do. We're going to go ahead and set our altitude, which is 26,000. I believe that's it. Boom. Flight director on. Your damper's going to stay off. You can pretty much do everything else once we get in the air. But yeah, we're ready to start the engine. So I'm gonna throw on the auto ignition, and let's do. Let's pull our props out of feather. Okay, and start the left engine. Fuel's already at full mixture. Oh, sorry, at full idle. Oh, high idle.
Your flight will be monitored until you land and shut down the engines.
Okay, I'm gonna set the barrows as well. So it's pretty low pressure today. That's why you have the bad weather. 2981. I forgot to switch my beacons on. Go ahead and do that. Looks like I already got dinged for it, so that's not good. I always mess up, man, doing these on-air missions, but hopefully we won't get too badly dinged for that. What I'm really worried about now is collecting the money, so company reputation is very important as well, but I really want to get the money, because that's really going to get me where I need to go. Alright, left engine started. Let's go ahead and start the right engine. Alright, right engine is started. Cool. Alright, so anybody who uses the King Air, I've said this before, but if you ever have an issue where like your avionics just shut off when you start moving, that's probably because you've left your starters on and the ignition's on, and your alternator may be off as well. So just check that stuff, make sure all of this is off, your ignition and your starters are off, and then make sure your alternators are on. Alright, so I'm going to turn the pitot heat just to remove the warning, but we don't really need it. Probably not until we get near to Georgia, or we get like higher up, and it's pretty warm out here, so it shouldn't be an issue. Alright, so we're good to go now. Gonna turn our taxi lights on. All these other guys, I will leave our strobe and our landing lights off until we get to the runway. Sim brief today has given us runway 32 for takeoff. So I'm just gonna pull that up so I know where I'm going. Alright. Okay, so we are sitting here, and we'll be going down to this runway down here for takeoff on runway 32. Alright, so pretty much just left. That's what we're gonna do. Alright. I'm not gonna worry about these guys right now. Alright, so I've been doing some research on the issue that I've been having with the plane pulling to the left and right, like during taxi as well as on takeoff. And apparently, according to the forums, that has to do with, I thought it was something wrong with my joystick. It's why I bought a new one. But apparently that has to do with the way that wind is represented in the sim. So for some reason, like even light winds they're modeled like for a lot stronger than they really are. Just gonna turn on the windshield wipers. So if you get any kind of crosswind, for some reason the plane will turn into the wind and just becomes very difficult to control. Because I've noticed the issue seems to like come and go sometimes, so that's might be what it is if you have that issue. I tried using auto rudder for a little while before I got the new joystick, and when I got the new joystick I still had the issues, so it's probably not a joystick problem. So I'm gonna hang on to my trusty Extreme 3D Pro just in case. And but this new joystick has been serving me well. I think what I'm gonna do as well is set up some kind of joystick cam, so you'll be able to see me controlling the plane with the joystick as we go along. Which should be interesting. I only really use the joystick a lot for takeoff and landing. I'm not one of those people who's like really huge on hand flying the plane. Like, I'll do visual approaches when I have to, but most of the time I'm doing an RNAV or an ILS approach. Alright. So we are coming up on runway 32 now. Set up a nice little custom view that puts me in a good position. Here we go for takeoffs and landings. Alright, taxi lights gonna come off, landing lights coming on, strobe lights on. Get ready to do this takeoff. Okay. So nothing's coming. Kind of overshot that. Alright, what I'm going to try to do is switch to autopilot fairly quickly on takeoff, because I want you guys to see the changes they've made to the water textures. They've really improved how the water looks here in the Bahamas, so I'm excited to show you guys that. Actually, before we move, gotta go props to full. Alright. Just making sure the ITT doesn't hit the red. We're a little heavy today as well. Pull back. Oh.
Airborne time log.
Alright, so totally forgot to set my flaps. I was wondering why we weren't taking off. Okay, we're up, gear up. Alright, just trim out for climb. And I'm going to turn our autopilot on quickly. So yaw damper on, autopilot, nav mode, flight level change, and I'm going to set our speed to 170 knots. And I'm going to turn these off. Set to park. So we're climbing out right now. Just gonna look and see if you could see any of those water changes that I was talking about. You can see how rough a day it is today out here. Lots of dark clouds, rain. So I'm just kind of looking around right now to see if we see anything. But unfortunately, it's a really crappy day for sightseeing. This kind of bites, but sorry about that, folks. I don't know. I really want to show you what the water looks like, but yeah, this ain't it today. Trying to get a couple screenshots in the meantime. Alright, so enough of the screenshots. pretty smooth climb out right now. I was actually sort of expecting more in terms of turbulence and all that, but not really getting any. So we're about to reach 10,000 feet. And 10,000, we can go ahead and turn off our landing lights. Yeah, so I've really gotten the hang of this, like climbing out with this aircraft now, and get things really smooth. And yeah, I wish there was more in terms of like difficulty with the aircraft, in terms of how to fly it, like controlling the power settings like some of the other aircraft. But I mean, it's alright though. I still find it fairly enjoyable to fly. The landing lights will come off now. And really, like in terms of aircraft of this size in OnAir, I mean, my only really two choices right now are the King Air, and the TBM. So I decided to stick with the King Air because, well, firstly, that's what I got type rated for. And secondly, I don't really, this is kind of what I'm comfortable with, so I decided to stick with this until I can move up to the next class. Alright, so we are coming up now on, let's see where we are on the map. Oops, wrong one. So we're coming up now between Abaco. So this is Abaco. Sorry, that's not Abaco. This is Andros on our left. I think this is Grand Bahama that we're going to be crossing over, and I believe this is Abaco right here. So I thought there was a lot more of those like water textures around Nassau, but it looks like it's not as updated as like Grand Bahama. So here we go. Now this is what I've been waiting for so long in this sim. I'm gonna have to go and grab another screenshot again. I just wish it weren't so high up. One sec. Almost got that lightning. Alright. But as you can see, it's pretty, they're really adding in there's nice effects to the island now. Like you can see like the sandy water below, the turquoise, the aqua. Like this is really how it looks when you're flying around the islands. And not just here, basically anytime you're near an island or you're flying like in the Caribbean, this is more so how it looks. It's not just plain blue water like what you see out here. So I'm really excited that they added this in. and I'm hoping to see it more around the other islands in the Caribbean. Alright, so just gonna check. Engines get a little hot. Now the weird thing is that, as far as I know from my research that I've done for the King Air, is that normally, because the engines are so powerful in the King Air, you normally don't use as much thrust. Like when you're taking off, this one I was reading, traditionally you're using about like half, maybe like half the thrust to take off. I mean, depending on your altitude, and the higher you get, the more thrust you have to apply to like maintain your rate of climb and all that. So what's weird here is that you kind of have to decrease, like the higher you get, you have to decrease the amount of thrust that you use, which is weird. I don't know if it's because the way I have my power setting set up, but so we've crossed 18,000 now. I'm gonna go to standard altimeter settings. Alright. So I will come back here. We can enjoy the view. So let's just have a quick chat for a little bit. Man, that looks amazing. Yeah, so as far as what we're doing today, so we are taking a job, as I said, from Nassau to Augusta Regional Airport. I'm assuming this is in Georgia. Bushfield is the area. So it's roughly, I think it's going to be maybe about 2.5 hour flight or so. As usual, I'm not going to take you through all of that. I'm not going to torture you guys like that. But we're transporting precision instruments. Don't know what that is, but that's what we're transporting. About almost 3,500 pounds of cargo. Now, one thing I like about the King Air is that, unlike the smaller planes, the King Air it can take a lot of cargo really well. I found that with those smaller planes, even when I tried to like redistribute the cargo to the seats, the plane was still tipping over and all that kind of stuff. King Air handles it really, really well. I haven't had any issues with the plane tipping over, even with the load like near its total cargo capacity. Even this flight here, I think we are at with fuel, cargo, and with fuel and cargo, like we're at close to 16,500 pounds, which is like your maximum takeoff weight, and handled it pretty easily. What I've found with OnAir is that really it's been a bit of a grind. Like, I decided to go the Thunder server route. If you're on the Thunder server, you basically can't use AI pilots or anything like that. You're basically grinding it out yourself, flying all of those flights, which I'm alright with. That's the main reason why I got this software. But it's definitely harder to build up money. And one of the other things that I noticed is that in building out my skill tree, I tried to distribute stuff evenly, and what I should have done was focus my points on being able to take last minute jobs and like dangerous goods, because those are what really pay like a lot of money. So right now I'm kind of being forced to fly short haul routes, which are routes that are like 500 to 1,000 nautical miles to really make the money that I need. So this particular job that I'm flying right now, this is taking, I'm being charged, sorry, I'm getting like over 100,000 credits for this. So I have to fly these like really long routes for it to be really worthwhile in terms of building my money up. So that's one of the reasons why I'm doing this around North America tour, so that not only just so I can see other places in North America, but also I'll be able to fly a lot of those long routes and build up a lot of money. So my aim is to have at least like 1 million or 1.5 million credits by the time I finish this around North America tour. And once I'm done that, I'm going to try and get a loan from the bank. Hopefully my company reputation will be built up a little more as well. And with that loan, I'm going to try and purchase a jet. So fingers crossed, we'll see how things go. And let's hope for the best. Let's go back up to the cockpit real quick, just to see where we're at. Okay, so we've hit our cruise altitude, 26,000 feet. Just watching my torque still. Is that torque? Yeah. Just watching the torque, it still climbs up to the red every now and then. So I gotta kind of bump down the engines a little bit. So I have my throttles about maybe like 40% right now. 50? Okay, it's at 50%. Seems a lot lower on the joystick. So I normally have to have it around here for it to not go into the red like that. So yeah, so that's pretty much where we stand as far as OnAir is concerned. Very, very soon, I think I'm going to start looking into pilot to ATC. Just so I could add that little extra level of immersion to these flights. Now, I've tried to pilot to ATC before, and I don't know, I felt like I didn't have it. I didn't feel like I 100% got the hang of it. But I'm really using it because, as I mentioned a while back, my main aim right now is to become comfortable enough to use VATSIM. Because I feel like VATSIM is what really provides that 100% level of reality in the sim. Now, if you can combine using VATSIM with a study level aircraft, you pretty much, that's as good as it gets really in Flight Simulator. So yeah, I really want to use VATSIM at some point. I'm not ready for it right now. That's why I want to use Pilot to ATC, which is an offline ATC software, but it's way better than what you have built into Flight Simulator right now. Alright, well, since we're at cruise altitude, what we're going to do now is we will go ahead and take a little break. We're early, about heading towards a third of the way into the flight, and we have this super long segment before we actually hit, kind of once we cross Grand Bahama and head towards Georgia. Like, let's see, in our flight plan, that is, yeah, 326 nautical miles. So that's going to be a long path of nothing over over the ocean. So I'm gonna go ahead. I said I'm gonna take a break. When we come back, we will start our approach. We'll be starting descent and approach into Georgia, and I'll be briefing you then, as always. All right. So see you guys in a little bit, and I will be back. Peace. Alright, so we're back, y'all. We've been flying for roughly about an hour and a bit. And I've been spending time checking my charts and briefing. Nah, just kidding. I've been like watching Netflix. But yeah, we're back, and we're gonna be starting our descent into Georgia soon, into Augusta. So as usual, let's go ahead and let's take a look at our chart. So we're using the Stooge 3 arrival, and we are heading towards Sav. This is where we're going. So if we look here on the map, we're heading towards Sav right now, and so from Sav it's going to be 52 nautical miles. We're going to be descending to where are we going from there? Let me double check. Yeah, sorry. 52 nautical miles. We're going to be descending down to ALD. Right, and it's kind of small, so it's hard for me to see from here. So we're doing the runway 35 approach. So we can't see it on here, but basically we're heading towards ALD after Sav. And then our next waypoint is going to be the Sardi waypoint, and we're going to reach there at 3,000 feet, and then we'll drop down to 1,700, and we'll shoot the ILS approach into Augusta Regional. So right now we are going to be prepping for our top of descent. So if you go if you looked at the next waypoint, it is 14,000 feet. So that's what we're going to be shooting for. So, oops. I'm just going to go and dial that in. 14,000 feet. And at 52 nautical miles, I use my precision calculator. I'm just going to link that down in the description box below. What I use, it just kind of makes it easier for calculating like where it should be instead of doing it off the top of my head. That is supposed to be 1,200 feet per minute. I'll probably do like maybe 1,300 just to ensure that I get down in time. So we're going to be starting that real soon. As you can see, we're over the States now, and we're just a few nautical miles outside of Sav now. So from here, everything's going to start happening kind of quickly. So once we hit LD, to get down to the height to actually shoot the approach, I have to drop down to like, I have to do like 1,900 feet per minute. So it's going to be a pretty steep descent to get in there. It's not what I want to do, but that's how it'll be for now. But we're crossing over Sav now. I've already started our descent, and just dialing back the throttle. So 52 nautical miles. Hopefully by that point we'll be probably just above the clouds or a little below the clouds. I have no idea. While waiting, let me pull up the METAR report for Augusta. So I've been doing this a lot now. It just kind of gives me an idea of what I'm going to be dealing with when I get to the airport. I know the weather in FS 2020 isn't like 100% accurate, but it's still good. It's good enough, you know. So let's plug this in. This is one of the sites that I go to. So we can go ahead and just type in KGAS. Wait, is that the right one? Oh, KAGS, sorry. Alright. And let's see what we have here. Temperature is 5 degrees. Visibility is more than, I guess, I know what SM is, maybe standard miles. I have no idea. But visibility is about just under 9 nautical miles. Wind is out of 310 at 15 knots, gust to 24 knots. It's a little breezy today. It's a little breezy. Altimeter is 2983. Ceiling is 5,500 feet. So yeah. So overcast 5,500 feet. Doesn't sound too bad right now. It's a little breezy. It's a little breezy in Augusta, but it's not too bad though. So that is good. I have really been shooting ILS approaches a lot nowadays. Now, if you've been watching any of my other videos, especially like the earlier ones, you know, like I really relied on OnAir, mainly because it was easy. You know, you just get down to the height you need to be at, hit approach, and you're good to go. But what I've found is that the OnAir approaches aren't always reliable. So I'd say it's almost half of the time where I end up having to hand fly the approach in because like OnAir doesn't pick up the glide path. Don't know why that happens, but it does. It's not a huge issue, but nowadays, if I could find an ILS approach, I will do it. They seem to be a lot more reliable, and I haven't had any issues with ILS approaches to date. If you're someone who flies the King Air often, or if you like to fly the King Air, if you're interested, sorry about that. If you're interested in flying the King Air, just watch closely how I set things up. Doing an ILS approach isn't very difficult, but if you're not used to this hybrid Garmin, whatever this GPS is, it's not Garmin from what I've heard. It's actually something else, but they stuck Garmin on there like when you load it up. Don't know why. I think it's like Proline or something. I don't know exactly what it is, but anyway, it's a little weird getting it set up. So it took me a while to kind of get the hang of it. Now that I've done it enough, it's pretty second nature. All you really need to do is just make sure you plug in the correct frequency for your ILS, which you could do at any time. So actually, let's do that now. So if we bring our approach back up, you can see here that the ILS approach for runway 35 is 110.5. You don't really have to worry about setting the course. in this aircraft, all you need is to put in the correct nav frequency. So what you'll do is you'll go to what is it? Map. So if that's not up, let's close it, for instance. So if you open it back up, yeah, go to map and then click on nav1 frequency, and then you can put in the frequency here. So in this case, 110.5. And one of the big things that you have to remember here, I always hit enter by mistake, but if you hit enter, you can come back in, and if you look at the frequency, oh, now it's saying 110.5. Okay, that didn't work, but sometimes it doesn't actually work. What you have to do is you got to make sure you put in 110.5 and then hit transfer. That'll actually set it as the active frequency. So I don't know why it was 110.5 all this time. That doesn't always happen. It's very often that that's different. Maybe depending on where you've flown before or whatever. Once you do that, your frequency is locked in. You can hit cancel, and you're pretty much half set up ready for the ILS approach. And things will actually sort of, well, not automatically kick in. You'll have to set your nav source to the localizer. Well, not the localizer. You have to set it to the nav radios, and I'll show you how to do that when we get close to the ground. Anyhow, right now we're nearing 14,000 feet. Actually, we've crossed 18,000, so let's go and use the local altimeter. Right now it's saying 29881 at the airport. When we pulled up just now, it was 29883, so close enough. Okay, so I deliberately set the vertical speed to like more than we needed, just so I could descend a little faster. I like to reach our assigned altitude before we get to the waypoint, rather than waiting until like we're right over it. And there's no like, you don't have like the banana like the other Garmin mods where you could actually see exactly where you're going to stop at, which is a lot more helpful. Alright, so we've hit 14,000. Now if we look at where we want to go from here, I want to get from LD to Saudi. That's where I want to go. And so from there, Saudi is going to be 3,000 feet. That's what you have to get at. So what I'm going to do, we're 6 nautical miles out from LD now. And we should be locked in. I'm going to go, and now I'm going to put in 3,000 feet. Okay. I always like to kind of prepare things before I actually start the next descent. And then I'll go to vertical speed. And this is actually starting it. Did not want to do that. But yeah, essentially you can go and set the vertical speed. Now, in order to get there, we actually have to be doing 1900 feet per minute. And since we're starting slightly ahead, I'll actually keep it at 1900. Yeah, I'll keep it at 1900 feet per minute since we're starting a little early. And that should get us to that next waypoint. Not the next one, but it should get us to Saudi. So once we get to Saudi, we're supposed to descend down to 2,000 feet. And at that point, this is where I'm going to change my nav source. So kind of once we cross this sky, I'm going to change my nav source to be nav1. What I notice normally happens is it will automatically turn you towards your. Once you tune the nav radio, it'll start heading towards your final approach fix, and then it'll line you up. It'll line you up on the localizer, and while you're doing that, you can hit approach or approach mode, and once they're all lined up, it'll capture the glide slope, and it'll just descend onto the runway. It's not really very difficult, but if you don't know how to do it, it's sort of weird and tricky. But FlyIslandGuy's got you. You know what I'm saying? All right. We are at 10,600. I am actually going to turn up the volume a little bit. I just realized I have it turned on. Okay. Yeah, sorry, I had the volume turned on from before. Okay, so we're now heading for 3,000 feet. Just about to break through the clouds. This is one of my favorite parts of flying, is breaking through the clouds. But definitely, I absolutely recommend, if you've been flying now in Flight Simulator for a while. Shoot. Forgot to turn on my landing lights as well. Damn it. I'm gonna get dinged all over the place today. And both times. No, what was the other one? I think the first one was for starting the plane without turning my beacon lights on. Now I'm getting dinged for not turning my landing lights on. You guys gotta remind me about this stuff. Anyway, I'm just joking. But yeah, I definitely recommend, if you have been flying FS 2020 for a while, or even like any of the other programs, X-Plane, P3D, I think it works with that too, and you are getting kind of bored with flying, definitely get OnAir, give it a try, because it just kind of gives purpose to your flying, and that's why I'm enjoying it now, and I'm really enjoying just exploring like North America. And I can imagine eventually down the line I'm going to maybe branch out, maybe South America or Europe. I think I might do Europe next, because it's a lot of country over there to explore as well. So I'm excited, man. One of my next goals in this as well is to actually learn how to fly the A32NX, or any other big jet airliner that comes out, so I could start flying like even longer distances, carrying more passengers and that sort of thing. But still enjoying the GA life right now. It's pretty good. Alright. Just coming through the clouds now. Wonder if it's gonna get a little bumpy. Okay, so 7 nautical miles outside of Sardi. Okay, we've hit 3,000. Or we're getting close to 3,000. We have an airport off to our left here. What's that? Nah. I think I was just seeing things. I thought it was an airport, it's just... I don't know what that is. So it looks like we're out here in rural Georgia. I've heard about Augusta, don't really know too much about it. Alright, I think I'm just going to pull out a notch of flaps now. A little ways out, to be honest, but I'm just going to stop appearing. Okay. So right now we're kind of just sitting in the clouds. I'm going to prepare to drop down to 2,000 feet. That's where we need to go. And what we're going to do is we're going to change our nav source to the navigation radio, which will be nav 1. That's what we set. So I'm going to set it to loc 1. And if you notice now it's turning, so it's pretty much going to be turning to intercept the localizer, which is here, and it's heading more for this waypoint. So let's go ahead and just descend down to 2,000. So that's where we need to be. Actually, a lie. I think we need to be at 1,700. Just gonna check. That's 1,700. Okay.
Landing gear. Landing gear.
What you're gonna see is it's gonna come here, then it's gonna line up. The plane's gonna line up on the localizer, and then pretty much just have to hit approach mode and you'll be good to go. Like, it's really simple in the King Air. Now, I don't know how real this is compared to like normal procedure, but on FS 2020 it's pretty simple. When you're doing the ILS landing, all you really need to focus on is just your speed and trying to make sure that your glide slope is like right in the middle, at least not more than like 1 dot off in either direction. So of course when it moves up, that means you're getting too low. If it moves down, that means you're too high. So you can think of it as the dot being a representation of the ground. So if the ground is moving up, that means that you are too low. Essentially, you're going to be like diving to the ground. But if it's all the way down, it's too high. You're going to overshoot your approach. So just something to think about. Alright, airspeed is really dropping down now, which is nothing wrong with that. I'm gonna go ahead and drop the gear. So we're gonna be turning on a final soon. This is my first time landing here, so this is all new to me. I see a lot of trees and farmland. Look outside. The gear is down now. Alright, we should be making a right turn soon to line up. You're going to see this green bar down here start moving towards the center. When it starts doing that, that's when we'll start turning. And I'm going to go ahead and just arm the approach. Now you can see right here the GS is showing up in white. So that means that it's armed but not active. And this is the runway right out here to like our 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock. Zoom in a little bit. Right now we're making our turn onto final. This is all the autopilot handling this right now. You can see that green line is starting to move in slowly but surely. And by the time we get lined up, that guy should be in the middle for the most part. Like, should be like a straight green line. Okay, airport's in front of us. When you capture the glide slope, I'm going to drop the next notch of flaps. And you'll be able to see when the glide slope gets captured, you're going to see the plane like kind of dip down a little bit. Also carefully getting lined up. And while we're waiting, I'm just going to check the airport map just to see where we're supposed to be. Runway 35, terminal buildings are all on the left, so going to be exiting left off the runway. Alright. So maybe, okay. I guess AG is probably where the glide slope's gonna kick in. You see the green dot now, right here. It's moving down slowly towards the center. So we're about to capture the glide slope as well. Looks like we have a pretty little crosswind as well, like we're sort of tracking with our nose pointing to the left a little bit. Okay, so we just captured the glide slope. You see the annunciator now just shows GS glide slope's active. I'm going to drop the next notch of flaps. So that's going to really slow us down. I normally like to approach it about 120, 110 or so. Maybe cross the threshold at like 105. That's cool. Looks like we're about to cross like a quarry or something. See it outside, out our right window. Ah, no, we can't see it.
Wind 300 at 14 knots.
So I could hand fly this if I wanted to, but you know, being lazy, enjoying this ILS action.
500.
Okay. Not seeing any pappies on the runway either. It's sort of annoying. Definitely is a little windy on landing. I wish we could see the wind information in the cockpit, but we can't. Gotta take over now. Kill the throttles.
Landing time log.
Alright. Solid landing. Thought it was going to be hard, but it wasn't. Alright. Take this taxiway. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Augusta, Georgia. Flaps up. Let's turn off our landing lights and our strobes. And let's find somewhere to park. Something's going on with that building right there. It's seeing better days. So I'm going to park over here at the little planes. Take a look at this Pablo Picasso building. Alrighty. Parking brakes on. Alright, feather the props for the most part. And all the other lights off. Boom, boom, boom. Kill the pitot heat as well. Don't need that. And engines off.
Engine off time log. Flight is finished. It has been monitored by OnAir.
Alternators off. avionics off. So 2-hour flight roughly. And battery off. Good to go. Engine's still running. Alright, and that is it, folks. Uneventful flight, just the way I like it. I also like these liveries. I forget what the name of the pack is. It's a livery pack for King Air. It's been out there for a long time now. I just like to see them looking a little different. So yeah, let's look in OnAir. And let's see how we did. So, as you can see, we went from Nassau, Linden Pendling International, to Augusta Regional. So we were dinged for starting the engines at the beacon and strobe off. And when we got below 10,000 feet, the landing lights were off. So yeah, that sucked. But luckily these aren't like major, they're not major penalties, so we didn't get the safety bonus because of that. But our reputation has increased by 0.5%. Now, one thing to look out for, you guys, is, and this isn't a bad thing, just remember that your reputation is based on the distance that you fly. So the further you fly, the higher the reputation increase you're going to get. Like, assume you don't get dinged for anything serious. So when you guys are able to get the bigger and better planes, fly the longer routes. Take the short haul routes. If you have something like a King Air or TBM, where you could do 500, 800 nautical miles, if you can. Just ensure that it's a route that you could do safely. And like, you don't want to run out of fuel on the way or anything like that. So just make sure you calculate that properly. And that's about it, guys. Let's go back to my company homepage. So I've gone up to 684,000. Remember, I was at about 584,000 before. I normally lose like 5,000 or so to rental fees. You can actually look at it. So I've lost $7,000 to rental fees, plus $90 for the landing fee, and $212 for the parking fees. If I go into the skills tree, I kind of now regret not trying to push for the last minute job and the dangerous jobs. That's probably what I'm going to do next. But you can also spend skill points on stuff like parking fees and landing fees, just to kind of reduce the cost and put more money back into your pocket. I still need to find out what this means. Negotiate aircraft ownership. So I don't know. I guess these are fees that you pay for owning an aircraft, like the upkeep. I actually have no idea what that is. But I wish there was something here that will reduce the amount that you pay for rent. So that would be good. But we're all trying to earn our own plane. That's what we're shooting for at the end of the day. I didn't do the tutorials to get a free plane, but it was cool because I didn't really want to start the Cessna anyway. But bigger and better things to come. Make sure you check out next video. I'm going to be starting from right here. I'm going to be heading somewhere else. Of course, it's going to be up the East Coast, and I'm looking forward to see where we'll be going next. And we'll probably have to start dealing with snow and that sort of thing as well. So we'll see. This is your boy FlyIslandGuy. Thank you for watching, and I'll check you on the next flight. Stay safe out there. Keep on flying. Aim for the skies. Peace.